I'm Spencer.
And I'm Steve.
And this is our Stranger Things Season 2 recap, episode number 7, The Lost Sister, and we're doing it in 11 minutes, and time starts now.
Gotta say, not my favorite episode. What do you think?
You know, this is so far, I mean, we just watched this thing, it didn't feel right. I mean, it's not bad, but it didn't feel right.
Well, the action was like at a fevered pitch, and suddenly it's like, eh.
And we want to let you slow down a little bit.
Exactly. Now, I do really like the fact, this is just an overarching comment, I do really like the fact that, like Eleven grows a little bit in this episode. She goes to Chicago, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, but, like, I don't know, I did like it for that fact, that she makes some pretty hard decisions, and she comes of age a little bit. Sees the world. Yeah,
11, she decides to go and find her quote-unquote sister, right? This other girl that she realizes was in that sunshine room, or the rainbow room,
right,
with her when they were kids. And of course, this is the girl that we actually saw in season 1, or the episode 1, when they were doing that tunnel chase, and she like snapped her fingers, and like you saw all the like stuff fall.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so like this is who she's seeking out. Like, okay, if you were a kid that age, like, would you let your kid that age like walk through those streets of Chicago where they were?
And if she could, like, meld minds and things like that, maybe. But no, not dressed in overalls, though. Not dressed in overalls. But no, it was definitely a grittier scene, and I guess it was kind of cool that we could finally get out of Hawkins, because we really haven't been out of Hawkins this entire, show. So
right.
It was a little bit different.
What did you think about her being called Shirley Temple by that Mohawk guy, Axel? He's like, hey, Shirley Temple. I was like, that's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I love that she uses the mouth breathers line, which we hadn't heard in this season yet.
Yeah.
Like some guy's like, hey, watch it, kid. He's like, mouth breather.
Yeah. So here's the thing, like, I noticed, like, the similarity, like, 11 finds a family with Mike and Will and Dustin and Lucas in Hawkins, right?
Right.
But 8 finds her family with kind of like these punks and these kind of like, kind of lowlifes in Chicago, but like they all kind of have like a role. Like there's like the big tough guy, and there's kind of like, the lookout person, and there's kind of like, the one girl that's kind of like ditzy, but like, whatever.
She's
and then,
a newcomer.
Yeah, the kind of the newcomer, and then you got like the Mohawk guy who's kind of like the, guns and ammo kind of guy, sort of.
Yep.
Like
yep. It's a Mission Impossible-esque team.
Right. It's like a reject A team, basically. She found her own family, right?
Right, exactly. And they seem to, have come to her because she's like their protector, right? They were all broken in some way, and she's kind of helped them. What's sinister about it, though, is we learn later on in the episode that she really has kind of assembled this team so that she can seek her own revenge for the people that wronged her. Which, so she's using these powers that she has for...
You kind of get this sense earlier on, too, like when Axel's like kind of acting up, and all of a sudden you see all the spiders like go up his arm, which freaked me the freak out because I hate spiders. But then like you realize like she doesn't have the same powers as 11. She's just manipulating like your perception of what you think you see.
That's right.
And so like, I mean, that's kind of a cool power to have, because you really could mess with people, which we see later on.
Right.
But I mean, it's interesting because it makes you think back to like that moment when she makes all those rocks fall in the first episode of that car chase.
Right.
Like that didn't happen, but
right.
She made the cops think that happened, so they all stopped.
Right. And she, once they come together, Kaylee, her name is Kali, which is odd because I think that's the Hindu god of death. Actually, I looked that
Kali.
up. Kali. Yeah. Kali. Is that she definitely says like there's a part of me that was lost and now I feel whole. A part of me that was missing and it's not. This is your home now, and you kind of get the sense like no, it's not. Like this isn't her home. Like this isn't where she belongs. Did you feel that way? Like
yeah. To me, this episode kind of seemed like it was more of a. It was going to be an opportunity for 11 to like see like what she could become if she went down a certain path, but she was obviously going to be presented with a fork in the road and an opportunity to to kind of make her own choices. But like they give her a makeover. I mean,
yeah, the makeover's kind of cool though. Actually, little 80s makeover.
or as she says, bitchin'.
Yeah, right, exactly. Slick back hair. You got like all black. You got the shadow eyes that have become quite popular nowadays. Yeah, and you see Kali.
Kali.
What would seem like training, but it's kind of just egging her on, probably for her own, benefit. Kind of creating this weapon that she can then use to enact revenge.
She's like, pulling her own Tony Robbins, like, you can do it type of, moment, right?
See if you can bleed out both nostrils, Elle. You can do it.
Right. You can move that train, girl.
That was a pretty cool scene, though. That was a pretty cool scene.
Well, so what I liked is you didn't see the other people there. And then, like, they all start clapping. I'm like, where did these people come from?
Right,
they
weren't there. But pulls this huge train car with, with her. It's almost kind of like a Jedi Luke X-Wing out of the swamp of Dagobah.
It very much had that feel to it. Good reference. Here's the thing, though. Like, she tries to use Papa, Matthew Modine's character, to, like, try to, like, think of who you really hate, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was kind of creepy. Like, I realized, like, does she really care for Elle, or does she only care about her end game, and she's willing to manipulate Elle to get that done?
Exactly. No, I think the latter is true. There's definitely some sinisterness there, but I don't think like she wants to hurt Elle. I just think that Kali's desire for revenge it trumps all of that. That's been her whole mission, her whole purpose.
Yeah, her life is consumed by it.
Yeah.
What did you think of the stealing scene where they go in the gas station? And they're like, we're gonna steal, and then all of a sudden he's like, all this poop is coming out under the door, and like he's going in there like he thinks it's there, and they just rob the place like nothing, like in the broad daylight.
Yeah. Well, and then he comes out, and I actually thought that Elle's sister was gonna get shot, and then, but then Elle throws him against the wall, and all's good. So, and they have the pedophile van that they drive off in.
They definitely.
Did you see him break off the handle on the gas? That ring any familiarities?
I've seen that before a time or two.
I've done that before.
I don't want to get into it. What did you think when they like decide to go to like the fat man's house? I don't know what his name was.
Yeah, he was like an orderly, basically. That was the one that kind of attached the electrodes to Elle's mom's head and then
burned her brain. Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting, and here's why. So Elle has a choice to make, right? And I kind of liken this to, Luke, basically like, join me, and together we will rule the galaxy as father and son, He had a choice to make, dark side, light side. And the same thing with Elle. Like, she totally could have killed him. She sees the picture of his kids. They find out the daughters are still in the house. She has this...
Oh, heartbreaking. You're like, oh, gosh. No.
Don't kill him, yeah. And then finally, Kali takes a gun and is ready to shoot him, and Elle throws it out of his hand. I thought it was an awesome scene, because it really showed, like, that Elle had that choice to make, and she said, you know what, this isn't me. Yeah,
I too, I like that moment. It was a time when I was like, you know what, we're gonna see her make a choice for herself and not really be kind of like impacted by everyone else, right? So obviously she like rips the gun out of the hand, and then like they have this like conversation afterwards, like, as they're like run down, she's like, you shouldn't have done that. And then the cops show up because the little girls called 911. Right. Good for them, by the way. Good for them.
Yeah.
PSA. Then like Kali uses her ability to make like the cops think like they're not there. And
when they do the raid, they
put up that big wall as they're trying to like run out, and they're like, what's going on? And like they're having this conversation like while she's like trying to get in the van or not get in the van, and it's at that moment where Elle's like, I'm not going with you. Yeah. I've got to go do my own thing. And it was just like, that was that moment where Kali's like, it seemed like her just like desire for revenge and thinking she was going to have a partner just like wavered a little bit. And so of course then her illusion wavered, and then it just fell apart. And so like, man, Elle barely gets out of there because like they go skidding off and driving off. And I got to say, for as many times as that van got shot, no one on the inside got injured.
I know, right?
What the crap was that?
Like sparks going all over the place. I thought it was really cool though, before they get out to the van and have that whole illusion that they're inside the warehouse, and Kali makes them just like disappear basically.
Right, yeah, and they're like,
so the cops are like walking in between them. I was like, what about the cigarette and the smoke? They wouldn't smell that, really? No, but I guess you can play with the mind.
What I loved though at the very end of this, like, like I said, this was a different a different episode completely. And I think this episode was more, not so much about the lost sister Kali, but it was more about Elle having to make a decision to like stop trying to look for her mom and look for that and like go back to her family, the people she's chosen to be with.
That's right.
And at the very end, she's sitting next to that nice old lady, and the nice old lady's like, you know, where's are you going home to see your parents? And she's like, I'm going to my friends. I'm going home. It's about time. And like, I was like, yes, finally, you know? Yes. So like, I'm hoping in this next episode, like, you know, that bus hurry up and gets there and we get time with, you know, Elle in Hawkins.
So two things. Did you feel at all any kind of sinisterness with that lady that sits next to her on the bus? Like, hello, you know, or like something like...
I did for a split second. I'm like, no, it's just going to be a nice lady.
And then secondly, I was like, here's some gummy worms in my pocket. They've been warm. Like Mr. Reed at Ferris Bueller's Day throws it. Anyway, great episode. Different but good. Different but good. Like,
different but good. And we're out of time. Let's go watch the next one. Come on.
Let's go.